So this topic is related to fluid. A ball bearing is there, it is dropped through a liquid and its terminal velocity is measured. So terminal velocity means when there is no resultant force, the object will move at a constant speed, and we call that as terminal velocity. The experiment is repeated at different temperatures. Which row could correctly describe the second experiment? So if we basically what happened if we increase the temperature, the viscosity, the liquid will flow easily, so viscosity will decrease. And if we decrease the temperature, the viscosity will increase. So here if we lower the temperature, viscosity is greater, so either A will be answer B, or if we increase the temperature, the viscosity will be smaller, so D can be an answer. Then what happened to terminal velocity? If the viscosity increases, then the object does not flow easily or the terminal velocity will decrease. So A cannot be the final answer. When we check B, if it's a greater viscosity, the object will flow at a slower speed in the fluid. So the terminal velocity will decrease. That's why B is the right answer. So when a ball moves through the airflow is laminar around the front of the ball and turbulent at the back. State what is meant by laminar and turbulent flow. So what is the definition of a laminar flow? A laminar flow means like there is no abrupt change in the direction of or a speed of the flow, where turbulent means that it contains eddy or abrupt changes in the speed and direction. So the laminar refers to no abrupt change, whereas the turbulent refers to abrupt changes there in the direction and speed. The diagram shows a ball from which the airflow become turbulent beyond point A and B. Add to a diagram to show airflow around the ball. The ball is moving towards left. So the ball is moving towards left, the airflow, because the direction of the fluid will be opposite. So airflow will be towards right. So first it is laminar, but after that the eddy it crosses each other, so it will become turbulent. It is suggested that the dimple of the on the golf ball decreases the area over the which the turbulent flow, and so only produce beyond point C and D. So for beyond point C and D, the flow become turbulent. Explain how decreasing the area over there's a turbulent flow increases the range. So basically, when there's a turbulent flow, it means greater resistance from the fluid. So greater amount of energy will be lost or wasted in the form of heat. So less turbulent flow area means less resistive force, so less energy wasted. So or we can say the greater area of the turbulent flow means greater resistance, which cause loss in energy or dissipation in energy. So greater energy dissipation is there That's why the range will also decrease. In question 3, the diagram shows a submarine and one of the force acting on it, the submarine moves at a constant depth and a constant and speed in all the in the direction shown. Add a label diagram to show the three forces. So there will be a weight of the submarine that's acting down, and that is balances with the upthrust that is acting up, and length of the arrow shows the magnitude of the force because they mentioned that it is at a constant depth and speed. So if speed is constant, direction of motion, so the force the which is resisting the flow, the viscous drag, will be balanced with the thrust, and the upthrust will be balanced with the weight. State 2 equation that show the relation between the forces acting on the submarine. So the two forces which are acting, so we can say weight is equals to upthrust, and the second force, which is the thrust, equal to drag. In part C, the submarine volume is 7,100 meter cube. Show that the weight of the submarine is about 7 exponent 7. And the density, so we know if it is at the constant depth, so weight is equals to upthrust. And what is upthrust? Upthrust is equals to density of the fluid, volume of object, and gravity. So upthrust is density of the fluid, volume of object, and gravity. The density of the fluid 1030, volume of object is 7100, and gravity is 9.81. Is it clear? So this will give us the weight of the submarine. Then at point A, the fluid flow changes. Below A, it is a laminar, and above A, it is turbulent. So below A, it is a laminar, and above A, it is turbulent. A hot air balloon consists of an envelope with a wicker basket suspended. The balloon flies because the heated envelope is less dense. The total volume of the balloon is 2830. The hot air envelope, the total weight is 3,100. Show that the resultant upward force. So what we'll do, how we'll show resultant upward force, there is a upthrust and the weight. So when we calculate the upthrust is density of the fluid, volume of object, and gravity, and weight is downward. So upthrust minus weight will give us the resultant force. and calculate initial upward acceleration. The mass of the balloon is 3,370 kilogram. So after getting the resultant force, F is equals to ma. So resultant force is equals to mass multiplied by acceleration. So the mass will, using a weight, will find the mass, and resultant force by upthrust minus weight will get the resultant force, and this will give us the acceleration of this hot air balloon. The balloon rises through a viscosity of 1.8 into 10 to the power 5. The effect of the viscosity on drag is negligible. Justify in bold. You may treat a whole balloon as a single sphere of radius 8.8. So we have to justify this statement. Basically, we have to find a terminal velocity, and that terminal velocity should come out around 2. Then add a label diagram to show how the force is acting vertically as it ascends. So upthrust will be greater than the weight. And as the balloon rises, the surrounding air density decreases. What happened? Why it limits the height? Because if the upthrust is equals to density of fluid, volume of object, and gravity, if the density of a fluid decrease, the upthrust will also decrease. So these are some questions related to topic fluid. Next session we'll do more questions related to this.